How do I stop this affair with my wife's sister? All updates included. I'm coming to you, internet strangers, to bear witness to my confession. I feel as though the weight of the world is upon my shoulders, and I hope by confessing, I might find a way out of this tangled web I've woven. I've had an affair, not just with anyone, but with my wife's sister. The guilt gnaws at me every day, the awkwardness at family get-togethers, the stress of always worrying that the truth will come out. It all started at a pool party a few years back. I remember the night was warm and the air was heavy with anticipation. We had family over, our kids, my wife's sister and her husband, along with their kids. My sister-in-law, Sarah, let's call her, was always intriguing to me. She had a kind of allure that was hard to ignore. She was different from my wife, wilder, more spontaneous, yet I loved my wife for her gentle and loving nature. That night, I remember glancing across the pool, seeing Sarah in the dim, ethereal glow of the pool lights. We locked eyes, and for a moment I was lost. She gave me a look that spoke volumes more than a simple passing glance. It was a look that hinted at secret desires, a shared connection that should not have been. After we all decided to head back inside, the house turned into a whirlwind of chaos. Children scampered about, looking for their towels and dry clothes. Adults were busy ensuring nothing was left out by the pool, and in all that commotion, Sarah and I crossed paths. As we made our way through the bustling crowd, we found ourselves alone in the hallway, away from the clamor. For a moment, time seemed to slow down as I met her eyes, those captivating orbs that held a universe of secrets. A flicker of uncertainty passed between us, but it was quickly replaced by a spark of adventure, burning bright in her gaze. Without a word, she stepped closer to me, her eyes never leaving mine. I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. The very air around us felt electric. She slowly reached up, placing her hand on my chest. Her touch was like a jolt of electricity. Then, in a swift, bold move that left me breathless, she leaned in and kissed me. It was a fiery, adventurous kiss filled with pent-up passion and forbidden desire. I was shocked, and for a moment, I froze, unable to react. But then, the intoxicating taste of her lips, the feel of her body close to mine, it all overpowered my senses, and I found myself reciprocating. It was a short-lived moment of stolen passion, ended abruptly as we heard footsteps approaching. We quickly separated, trying to act casual, pretending nothing had happened. But we both knew it wasn't just a random kiss. It was the ignition of a flame that was set to burn our worlds down. After that incident, we never spoke of it, never acknowledged the crossing of a line that should never have been crossed. But it lingered, a constant reminder of our shared secret, the seed of an affair that would continue to grow, pushing us towards an unthinkable path. After that night, everything changed. At the next family gathering, Sarah walked by me deliberately, her arm brushing mine ever so lightly, but enough to send a shiver through my entire being. The scent of her intoxicating perfume lingered behind her, a sensory marker that played into my growing fixation on her. Soon, she started arranging more play dates for our kids. Our families began visiting each other's houses more often than we ever had before. The tension was mounting with each passing day, every interaction laden with a potent mix of guilt and desire. The breaking point was a family vacation in the Smoky Mountains, near Gatlinburg. Our family, along with Sarah's, as well as my wife's and Sarah's parents, rented a large cabin, and one evening, the rest of the family decided to go into town for some Chinese takeout. It was a 45-minute drive there and back, leaving Sarah and me alone in the cabin, with the kids preoccupied upstairs by the foosball table and the Xbox. The air was thick with unspoken tension. It felt like a dream as we drifted towards each other, finally succumbing to the passion we'd been trying to deny. It was hot, it was wild, and it was wrong on so many levels. The sense of guilt was overwhelming, but it was quickly drowned out by the sheer intensity of our desires. By the time everyone else returned, we had composed ourselves, but the memory of our illicit tryst was etched deeply into our minds. From that point, our affair spiraled out of control. Every stolen moment was filled with the thrill of deception, the passion of forbidden love, and the ever-present guilt. The fear of being caught looms large, but the pull towards each other is stronger. Now I'm stuck, lost in a whirlwind of guilt and desire. I want to stop the affair, but the feelings are undeniable. We both know what we're doing is wrong, but we're so caught up in this tumultuous storm that stopping seems impossible. Please, if anyone can offer some advice, some way to navigate this situation, I would appreciate it. I fear that soon we'll slip up, our secret will come out, and will hurt those we care about most. I'm desperate to find a way out, a way to make things right. These are some of the responses that he received. Response 1, I read your confession and I can tell you're in deep. You need to take a step back, breathe, and assess the situation logically. You can't continue with this affair, it's only going to lead to pain and destruction. Start by distancing yourself from Sarah. Find a therapist, discuss your feelings and the guilt that you're experiencing. Seek professional advice. You've made a mistake, but you have the chance to rectify it before it escalates further. Response 2, man, you messed up. Big time. You betrayed your wife, your kids, and your whole family. This isn't some steamy romance novel, it's real life, and your actions have consequences. If you really care about your family, end this affair. Now, tell Sarah it's over and you both need to sort yourselves out. If not for your sake, for the ones who will be collateral damage in your selfish gain. Response 3, it's evident from your story that you're dealing with a lot of guilt and conflicting emotions. Everyone makes mistakes, it's human nature. You're already on the right track by acknowledging your mistake and seeking advice. Distance yourself from Sarah, focus on your relationship with your wife, and most importantly, seek counseling. You've already taken the first step. Now it's time to continue walking down the path of redemption. Response 4. I don't feel sorry for you at all. You made your bed, now lie in it. That magnetic pull you're feeling towards Sarah is nothing but lust and infatuation. Get a grip on yourself and stop playing the victim. You're not the victim here. Your wife, your kids, and even Sarah's husband are. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you can start cleaning up the mess you've made. Response 5. I won't berate you or sympathize with you. What you've done is wrong, and you know it. The first thing you need to do is end the affair immediately. Next, evaluate the pros and cons of coming clean to your wife. She may forgive you, she may not. Be prepared for either outcome. If you decide to keep it a secret, you need to commit to that decision and learn from your mistakes. Either way, it's time to face the music. This is his first update. It's been a few weeks since I confessed to you all about my illicit affair with Sarah, my wife's sister. Despite the mix of advice, from harsh criticism to understanding guidance, I've been trying to figure out how to untangle this messy web I've woven. About a month ago, I planned an accidental encounter with Sarah at a local coffee shop. We casually bumped into each other, feigned surprise, and decided to catch up. In the midst of the idle chat, I found the courage to say what needed to be said. I told her, in no uncertain terms, that what we were doing was wrong and had to end. Her eyes welled up, but she nodded, understanding the gravity of our situation. The conversation was painful, but it felt like I had taken the first step towards fixing my mistake. For a while, it seemed like it worked. We maintained our distance, limited our interactions to family gatherings where we carefully avoided being alone together. But the tension between us didn't fade. If anything, it escalated. The stolen glances, the electric charges every time we inadvertently touched. The desire was palpable, the mutual attraction intensifying despite our attempts to suppress it. A few days back, opportunity knocked on our door. We found ourselves alone again, the circumstances aligning perfectly like the universe was conspiring against us. In a moment of weakness, we succumbed to our passions. It felt like we were being sucked into a vortex of desire. The intensity of our feelings was more potent than ever before. And now, I fear that my wife might be catching on. I've noticed her glancing suspiciously at Sarah and me, her brow furrowed, questions lingering in her eyes. I found myself weaving a web of lies to cover my tracks, a deceitful game I never thought I'd play. The guilt and the fear are driving me to the brink of insanity, but I feel helpless against the magnetic pull Sarah and I share. I'm stuck in this nightmarish cycle, spiraling out of control, and I'm desperate to break free. I promise to keep you all updated. Maybe by putting it out there, I'll find the strength to do what's right. Until then, I live in this storm of guilt, desire, and growing fear. His second update. Well, shit, everyone. The reality that I'd feared has come to pass. My secret is out. A week ago, my wife confronted Sarah and me. She'd pieced together our betrayal, and the pain in her eyes was something I'll never forget. It cut deeper than any words ever could. The woman who loved me, who trusted me, whose world I had shattered with my selfish actions, stared at me with a look of deep betrayal and agony. It was like a punch to the gut. My confession led to an explosion. My brother-in-law, blindsided by the revelation, lashed out. We ended up in a fight, raw emotions turning into physical aggression, but the real battle was the war within me. I could see our families crumbling around us, the pain etched on everyone's faces. The world we had built was imploding, and we were at its epicenter. Sarah and I are now separated from our respective partners. I've moved out of our family home and into a small apartment. It's devoid of warmth, a constant reminder of the mess I've created. Sarah, too, is living in her own apartment across town. We've become pariahs in our own lives, the architects of our own misery. We haven't seen each other in weeks. The fire that burned so brightly between us has been snuffed out by the harsh winds of reality. We exchange texts now and then, checking on each other. There's a strange sort of discomfort between us, a bitter reminder of our sin and its consequences. The hardest part of this all is the pain I've caused my family. My wife, our kids. They didn't deserve this. They didn't deserve the pain, the confusion, the broken trust. I've shattered their world, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to mend it. Sarah's kids, too, are paying for our mistake. It's a pain that I wouldn't wish on anyone. Right now, I don't know what the future holds for Sarah and me, but it pales in comparison to the devastation I've caused my family. All I can do now is try to make amends, to rebuild the trust I've broken, and pray that with time, healing will follow. I'll continue to keep you updated. For now, I have a long road ahead, paved with remorse and the need for redemption. Here is his final post, a final update from the eye of the storm. In the whirlwind of events that has been my life over the past few months, Sarah and I have found ourselves together. The passion that once threatened to burn our lives down now fuels our relationship. The fire still burns, but it's tempered by a lingering sorrow, a constant reminder of the pain we've caused. Adjusting to our new lives hasn't been easy. Seeing us together was hard for our kids at first. There were confused faces, unspoken questions, and bouts of anger. But with time, things have started to settle down. There's a new normal we're slowly adapting to, as awkward and uncomfortable as it may sometimes be. I've come to understand that our actions have caused irrevocable damage. We've shattered bonds and trust, things that take a lifetime to build and a moment to destroy. We're now seeing a counselor, individually and together, to help us navigate these turbulent waters and to be better for our children and for ourselves. Did we get lucky? I can't say. Maybe we did. We found love in the most unexpected and inappropriate place. And maybe, just maybe, in time we'll be able to look back at this chaotic chapter of our lives not just with regret, but also with an understanding of the profound transformation it triggered within us. Life is a one-shot deal, marked by the tattoos of experiences, some beautiful, some not so much. We made a monumental mistake, but what we do in the aftermath can redefine us. The pain we've caused can serve as a foundation for a future where we strive to be better, to do better. Our future isn't all sunshine and rainbows, but there is a glimmer of hope on the horizon. It's a thin, fragile thread, but it's there. And given everything that's happened, it's more than we deserve. I'd like to end by thanking all of you. Your advice, your criticism, your support, everything has been a part of this tumultuous journey. I'm not sure where the road ahead will lead, but for now, we hold on to the hope of better days. Thank you all, and take care. Well, I never want to wish anyone any ill or extra pain and suffering. What they did was totally wrong, but I am glad to hear that they are focusing on doing what they can to make things as good as they can for their children. I mean, they should have done that from the start and never even went down this path, but we aren't allowed to change things with hindsight. However, we can learn from the mistakes, as well as the good examples of others, and try to be better each day. What are your thoughts on this? Does their glimmer of hope, that they feel they don't deserve, even stand a chance? Can they live a normal life ever again after all of this? Let us know what you think in the comments below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.